Jagannath, the eternal Lord of the universe. A soulful audiobook narrated and published by Sweet Audible. Introduction. Lord Jagannath, residing in the sacred Nilachal of Puri, is not just a deity. He is a living symbol of equality, love, devotion, and selfless service. His divine presence, the sacred Mahaprasad, the grandeur of the Rath Yatra, and the timeless traditions of the temple have inspired countless devotees for centuries, offering spiritual joy and guidance in life. This audiobook invites you to explore the divine realm of Puri, the glory of Lord Jagannath, his miracles, and his profound influence on the lives of saints and devotees alike. You will discover how devotion to Jagannath awakened spiritual consciousness, love, and surrender in saints, poets, and ordinary devotees throughout history. Across 10 chapters, we present the sacred temple, Mahaprasad, Rath Yatra, daily rituals of servitors, influence on saints, and the miracles and blessings of Lord Jagannath. Each chapter is designed not only to inform, but also to offer a devotional experience and spiritual insight, allowing you to feel the presence of the Lord in your heart. The purpose of this audiobook is to help you not only witness the divine beauty of Lord Jagannath, but also experience his love, grace, and devotion in your own life. This is more than a book, it is a spiritual journey meant to awaken peace, faith, and divinity within your heart. May Lord Jagannath's grace guide you on this journey, filling your life with spiritual bliss, love, and surrender. Chapter 1. The Divine Abode of Lord Jagannath. The land of India has always been the cradle of spirituality, where the sacred and the eternal intermingle with the lives of ordinary people. Amidst her countless holy shrines, there is one abode that shines with extraordinary grandeur and mystery. The sacred city of Puri, where Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, resides in his majestic temple. Puri, situated on the eastern coast of Odisha, is not merely a geographical place. It is a spiritual realm, a living testimony of faith, devotion, and divine love. For centuries, saints, seekers, and pilgrims from every corner of the land have walked barefoot on its sands, longing for a glimpse of the dark, compassionate eyes of Lord Jagannath. They believe that even one darshan of the Lord is enough to purify lifetimes of karma and bring the soul closer to liberation. The very name Jagannath carries a deep meaning. Jagat means the universe and Nath means the Lord. He is not bound by any particular community, caste, or nation. He is the Lord of all beings, the eternal protector of the universe. Unlike many other deities whose images appear in refined, delicate forms, Jagannath's form is simple, powerful, and filled with profound symbolism. His large round eyes gaze endlessly in compassion, as if watching over all creation. His incomplete limbs remind us that divinity cannot be confined to human definitions of perfection. From the moment a pilgrim enters Puri, a certain energy fills the air. The sound of temple bells, the chanting of mantras, the fragrance of flowers, and the salty breeze from the Bay of Bengal all merge into one divine symphony. Pilgrims often describe that even before setting eyes on Jagannath, their hearts begin to feel lighter, as if the Lord's unseen arms are already embracing them. The temple of Jagannath stands as a monumental symbol of devotion. Rising above the city with its towering shikhar, it dominates the skyline, as if to remind every soul that the Lord is supreme above all. The flag atop the temple, known as the Patita Pavan Bana, flutters proudly in the wind, signifying the Lord as the savior of the fallen, the redeemer of sinners. An age-old tradition ensures that the flag is changed every single day, a ritual that continues without fail, regardless of weather or circumstance. It is said that no matter how strong the wind blows, the flag always flies against it, a mystery that defies human logic. As one walks through the ancient streets leading to the temple, chants of Jai Jagannath echo from every corner. Shopkeepers, priests, beggars, and pilgrims all utter the divine name with reverence. In Puri, every breath seems to carry the essence of Jagannath. The spiritual significance of visiting Jagannath is immense. In Hindu tradition, there are 4 sacred pilgrimage centers known as the Char Dham: Badrinath in the north, Dwarka in the west, Rameshwaram in the south, and Puri in the east. Of these, Puri is regarded as the most accessible and merciful, for Jagannath is said to open his arms to everyone without discrimination. Unlike in many temples where strict rules once limited entry, Jagannath's abode has always symbolized inclusiveness. He is the Lord of kings and commoners alike, of saints and sinners, of humans and even animals. The temple's traditions echo this universal embrace. The atmosphere of devotion in Puri reaches its zenith during the famous Rath Yatra, when the Lord himself comes out of the sanctum to bless his devotees. But even on ordinary days, the experience of entering the temple is unforgettable. The moment one crosses the Singha Dwara, the Lion Gate, an overwhelming sense of humility takes over. Thousands of pilgrims stand in long lines, their eyes moist, chanting his name, each heart yearning for just a moment of communion with the divine. Inside the sanctum, Jagannath resides with his siblings, Balabhadra, the elder brother, and Subhadra, the divine sister. The 3 stand side by side, reminding us that family, love, and unity are divine values. The first sight of their immense wooden forms fills the heart with indescribable joy. Devotees believe that the Lord's eyes are not ordinary. They are windows to eternity, eyes that never close because his vigilance over his creation never ceases. The aura of Puri cannot be captured merely in words. It is not just the temple, nor only the rituals. It is the living energy of faith that surrounds the city. Pilgrims who arrive weary and burdened with worldly troubles often leave with hearts brimming with peace. They feel that Jagannath has accepted them, listened to their silent prayers, and blessed them with hope. Saints and poets have sung endlessly about Jagannath's grace. The great Vaishnava saint Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent years in Puri, lost in ecstatic devotion, dancing and weeping before the Lord. For him, Jagannath was not just a deity, but the very embodiment of Krishna, Radha, and divine love itself. His example drew countless seekers to Puri, making it a hub of the Bhakti movement. But perhaps what makes Jagannath unique is that he is not distant or intimidating. He is approachable, friendly, and compassionate. In him, the poor villager sees a protector, the tired mother sees a child, and the wandering saint sees the ultimate goal of life. His temple is not merely a place of worship. It is a living house of the divine, where God resides as a member of every devotee's family. The people of Odisha often call him Kaliya Thakur, the Black Lord, out of love and intimacy. For them, he is not a distant god in the heavens, but a loving companion in their joys and sorrows. This intimacy is the heart of Jagannath devotion. It reminds us that divinity is not to be feared, but to be loved. And so, the city of Puri continues to shine as the spiritual capital of devotion. Every day, thousands of pilgrims walk its streets, carrying the dust of Nilachal on their foreheads and the name of Jagannath on their lips. For them, life itself is a pilgrimage, and Jagannath is the eternal destination. In the chapters ahead, we shall journey deeper into the mysteries, legends, and spiritual glory of this Lord of the universe. But as the first step of our pilgrimage, let us hold in our hearts the truth that Jagannath is not only the deity of Puri, he is the Lord of all creation, watching over each soul with boundless love.
Sweet, audible.
Chapter 2. Legends of the Lord's Manifestation. Every temple has a story, but the temple of Lord Jagannath at Puri is woven with mysteries so deep that even centuries of devotion have not fully unraveled them. How did these unique wooden deities come to exist? Why do they appear so different from the usual idols of Hindu temples? The legends of Jagannath's manifestation are as fascinating as they are profound, blending mythology, history, and divine play. Long ago, there lived a pious king named Indradyumna. He was a ruler of Malav in central India, but his heart longed for something far beyond kingship. The king's soul was restless with a deep spiritual thirst. One night, he had a dream in which the Supreme Lord appeared and commanded him, "Build a temple for me, and I shall manifest there in a unique form." Awakening from this vision, King Indradyumna became determined to discover where this divine form of the Lord resided. His inquiries led him to hear of a sacred image known as Neelamadhav, worshipped secretly by a tribal chief named Vishwavasu in a dense forest. Neelamadhav was said to be an enchanting deity, so divine that the very sight of him could liberate the soul from bondage. The king sent his trusted priest Vidyapati to locate this mysterious idol. After a long and difficult journey, the priest reached the forest where Vishwavasu lived. At first, the tribal chief was reluctant to reveal the secret, but eventually he allowed Vidyapati to witness the deity. When the priest beheld Neelamadhav, his heart overflowed with devotion. But when he returned to report to the king, the deity had mysteriously disappeared. Neelamadhav was no longer there. Heartbroken yet undeterred, King Indradyumna resolved to build a temple in Puri on the seashore of Nilachal Hill, where the Lord himself had promised to appear. With immense effort, he constructed a magnificent temple, but the question remained, where was the deity who would reside there? At this time, a divine voice instructed the king, "Go to the seashore. There you will find a sacred log of wood floating upon the waves. This log is my manifestation. With it, carve the images of Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra." Obeying the heavenly command, the king rushed to the seashore. And indeed, on the golden sands, a massive log of wood lay afloat, glowing with divine radiance. But when the king's men tried to move it, no amount of force or skill could lift it. The strongest elephants and the most powerful men failed. Then, as if by divine play, Vishwavasu, the same tribal chief who had once worshipped Nilamadhav, arrived. With him was Vidyapati, the priest. Together, they prayed deeply to the log, chanting sacred mantras. Only then did the great piece of wood move effortlessly, as though the Lord himself had agreed to be carried. The log was brought to the temple with immense reverence. Now came another mystery. Who would carve the deities from this sacred wood? At that moment, an old carpenter appeared at the gates of the temple. He introduced himself as Vishwakarma, the celestial architect of the gods. He agreed to carve the forms of Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, but on one condition. I must work in complete solitude. No one should open the door until I am finished. The king agreed, and the mysterious carpenter locked himself inside a chamber with the sacred log. Days turned into weeks, and the sound of chiseling could be faintly heard. But after some time, the sound stopped. King Indradyumna grew restless. His queen and ministers pressed him with doubts. Has the old carpenter abandoned his task? Has something gone wrong? Unable to contain his anxiety, the king opened the door before the appointed time. To his shock, the idols stood unfinished. Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra appeared in incomplete forms, their bodies lacking arms and legs, their shapes rounded, their features extraordinary. The carpenter had vanished, never to be seen again. It was then revealed through divine vision that the old man was none other than Lord Vishwakarma himself. The Lord had chosen to manifest in these unusual, incomplete forms, beyond human notions of perfection. At first, King Indradyumna wept in despair. But then a divine voice echoed through the temple. O king, do not grieve. These forms are my eternal forms. In this way, I wish to remain among my devotees, simple, approachable, and full of compassion. I am Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. Worship me as I am, and I shall bless the world forever. From that day onward, Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra were worshipped in these unique wooden forms. Unlike stone deities that endure for millennia, the wooden forms of Jagannath are subject to time and decay. Every 12 years, in a sacred ritual called Nabakalebar, the old idols are replaced with new ones, carved from specially chosen neem trees known as daru. This symbolizes the eternal truth, that the body is temporary, but the spirit is everlasting. The Lord shows us that even He takes new forms, teaching humanity the cycle of death and rebirth. These legends are not mere tales. They carry deep spiritual meaning. The unfinished forms of Jagannath remind us that God cannot be confined to human imagination. His love is boundless, beyond form, yet He chooses to appear in a way that even the simplest villager can approach Him. Unlike polished idols meant to impress the eye, Jagannath's form is meant to melt the heart. Even today, when pilgrims stand before Him, they feel that His large, round eyes are gazing only at them, filled with compassion and mercy. His incomplete arms seem to stretch out to embrace the entire world. His smile, simple yet mysterious, assures devotees that no one is beyond His grace. Thus, from the devotion of King Indradyumna and the play of the divine architect, Lord Jagannath manifested in Puri, not as a distant deity of grandeur, but as a loving Lord who belongs to all. And so, generation after generation, countless souls continue to bow before him, finding in his unique form the infinite presence of the Eternal Supreme. Chapter 3: Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, the Eternal Siblings. When a pilgrim enters the sanctum of the Jagannath temple in Puri, the sight that greets the eyes is unlike anything else in the world. Not one, but 3 divine forms stand side by side: Lord Jagannath, his elder brother Balabhadra, and his beloved sister Subhadra. Together, they form a trinity of eternal siblings, radiating love, unity, and compassion. Unlike most temples where a single deity is worshipped, Puri reminds us that divinity is not solitary, but a family, bound by affection, duty, and divine play. The first and central figure is Lord Jagannath himself. His round, dark body, immense eyes, and compassionate smile symbolize the mystery of the cosmos. Devotees see him as Krishna, as Vishnu, as the Supreme Lord who governs all. But what is unique about Jagannath is his approachable simplicity. Unlike the polished statues of Krishna holding a flute or Vishnu holding his divine weapons, Jagannath stands in a form that belongs to all, a reminder that God is beyond ornament and posture. His eyes, wide and eternal, watch over all creation, never closing, never turning away from the suffering of his children. Beside him, on the right, stands his elder brother, Balabhadra, also known as Balaram. Balabhadra's complexion is white, in contrast to Jagannath's deep black. He represents strength, protection, and the guiding power of truth. In the stories of Krishna, Balaram is the elder brother who teaches discipline, responsibility, and duty. In Puri, his presence beside Jagannath reminds devotees that spiritual life requires not only love and devotion, but also firmness, courage, and strength of character. Between the 2 brothers stands their beloved sister, Subhadra. With a golden yellow complexion and a graceful smiling presence, she is the embodiment of love, harmony, and compassion. Unlike the 2 brothers, who are depicted with larger forms, Subhadra's appearance is gentle and motherly. She reminds devotees that the divine is not only strength and power, but also affection, softness, and nurturing care. Subhadra is often seen as a symbol of Shakti, the divine feminine energy that balances and completes creation. The 3 siblings together symbolize a divine harmony of qualities: Jagannath as the all-encompassing Supreme, Balabhadra as strength and protection, and Subhadra as compassion and nurturing love. Devotees believe that worshipping all 3 together brings completeness to spiritual life. For in every soul's journey, there is a need for shelter in God, guidance in truth, and comfort in divine love. The symbolism of the siblings also reflects the profound philosophy of inclusiveness. Jagannath is dark like the night sky, Balabhadra is white like the shining moon, and Subhadra is golden like the rising sun. Together, they represent the totality of existence, darkness, light, and the dawn of balance. In their unity, we are reminded that the divine embraces all differences, color, form, and nature without division. The universe itself is held together by such harmony. The legends of how these three came to stand together are filled with sweetness. One of the most beloved tales comes from the story of Krishna in Dwaraka. It is said that after the great war of Kurukshetra, Krishna's queens were eager to hear about his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. They asked Rohini, the mother of Balaram, to narrate those memories. But Rohini hesitated, knowing that the intensity of Krishna's love for the gopis, especially Radha, might be overwhelming. At last, she began to speak, sending Subhadra to guard the doorway so that no one would disturb them. As Rohini described Krishna's divine pastimes, both Krishna and Balaram approached the door eager to listen. Subhadra too became absorbed in the nectar of those memories. Overwhelmed by divine ecstasy, all three siblings lost themselves in the bliss of remembrance. Their bodies shivered, their eyes widened, and their forms transformed into the very images that now stand in Puri. Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra with large round eyes and unique appearances. This legend explains why their forms appear so different and why their expressions radiate a sweetness of divine love. The presence of the siblings together also reminds devotees of the importance of family in spiritual life. For many, God is not a distant ruler, but a member of their household, a brother, a sister, a child, or a parent. In Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra, devotees see their own families reflected. They remind us that divinity is not separate from human relationships, but sanctifies them. Love between brothers and sisters, the protection of family bonds, and the affection of siblings are themselves sacred expressions of God's will. During the grand festival of Rath Yatra, this truth becomes visible to the entire world. Each sibling is placed on a massive chariot of their own. Balabhadra on the Tala Dhwaja, Subhadra on the Darpa Dalan, and Jagannath on the towering Nandi Ghosa. Pulled by thousands of devotees, the three chariots roll through the streets of Puri in majestic procession. For those who witness it, it feels as if the divine family has come out of the temple to visit their children, showering blessings on all, regardless of caste, creed, or faith. The unity of the siblings also conveys a profound spiritual message. The path of devotion is not one-dimensional. It requires balance. Strength alone without compassion becomes harsh. Love alone without guidance may become weak. Divinity alone without companionship may feel distant. But when all three, strength, love, and supreme divinity stand together, the soul finds completeness. This is the eternal lesson that Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra teach. Devotees often sing songs of love to the siblings, addressing Jagannath as the playful Lord, Balabhadra as the mighty protector, and Subhadra as the gentle mother. In their prayers, they do not see them as distant gods, but as their own family. Children are told stories of Subhadra's kindness, mothers pray for Balabhadra's strength to protect their homes, and elders bow before Jagannath for guidance and salvation. Thus, the trinity of Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra is not only a divine mystery, but also a reflection of our own lives. They remind us that God dwells in relationships, in bonds of love, in the embrace of siblings, and in the care of family. The universe itself is a family, held together by the Lord of the universe and His eternal companions. As we continue our journey through the mysteries of Jagannath, let us hold in our hearts this vision of divine unity. For in the eyes of Jagannath and his siblings, we see the promise that no soul is alone. The divine family is always with us, guiding, protecting and loving us eternally. Chapter 4. The Sacred Temple of Puri. The temple of Lord Jagannath in Puri is not merely a structure of stone and mortar. It is a living presence, a spiritual universe in itself. Rising majestically above the coastal town, its towering spire can be seen from miles away, as if guiding pilgrims like a divine lighthouse. For centuries, this sacred abode has been the heart of devotion, mystery, and faith. To set foot within its walls is to step into another realm, where every sound, every fragrance, and every ritual speaks of eternity. The Jagannath Temple is one of the greatest marvels of Indian architecture and spirituality. It is believed to have been originally constructed by King Indradyumna, who received divine instructions to build it as the abode of the Lord. Over the ages, many dynasties, particularly the Eastern Ganga kings, expanded and adorned the temple, turning it into the grand structure we see today. Its central tower, or shikhar, rises nearly 200 feet high, crowned with the Nila Chakra, a massive disc made of 8 metals, symbolizing the eternal Sudarshan of Vishnu. Every aspect of the temple is rich with meaning. The complex is enclosed by 2 great walls, the outer Meghanada Prachir and the inner Kurma Prachir. Passing through them is like leaving the ordinary world behind and entering the sacred realm of Neelachal, the Blue Hill. The temple has 4 main gates, each facing one direction, but the most revered is the Singhadwar, the Lion Gate, where 2 massive stone lions guard the entrance. It is here that pilgrims first bow, touching the ground with reverence before entering the Lord's domain. Perhaps one of the greatest mysteries of the Jagannath temple is the behavior of the flag atop its spire. Known as the Patita Pavan Bana, it is changed every single day, regardless of weather. But what astounds visitors is that the flag always flies against the wind, a phenomenon that defies logic. Scientists and scholars may debate the mechanics, but for devotees, it is a living miracle, a sign that the Lord's presence defies human understanding. Another wonder lies in the Nila Chakra. This massive wheel, placed at the very top, is said to be constructed of a rare alloy of 8 sacred metals. From whichever direction one views it, the chakra appears to face the observer directly, a silent reminder that Jagannath's watchful eyes are always upon his children. Even more mysterious are the daily rituals of the temple. The Lord of Puri is not worshipped like a distant king seated in majesty. Instead, he is cared for like a living being. Each day, Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra are awakened at dawn with soft hymns, bathed, dressed, and offered food. They are entertained with music, lulled to rest, and treated with the intimacy of beloved family members. This tradition reflects the unique philosophy of Jagannath, that God is not remote but part of our daily lives, sharing in our joys and sorrows. The temple's kitchen is another wonder that has baffled both devotees and skeptics. It is said to be the largest kitchen in the world, where 56 types of dishes known as Chhappan Bhog are prepared daily as offerings to the Lord. The food is cooked in earthen pots placed one on top of another in large rows of firewood. Astonishingly, though the pots are stacked in dozens, the food in the topmost pot always cooks first, followed by those below. This miraculous process, repeated daily for centuries, is considered a divine mystery beyond explanation. The offered food becomes the famous Mahaprasad, sanctified not only by ritual but also by the Lord's grace. Unlike in many temples where offerings are reserved for specific communities, Mahaprasad is shared by all, rich and poor, high and low, without discrimination. It is said that whoever partakes of Mahaprasad is directly blessed by Jagannath himself. This inclusiveness reflects the essence of Jagannath's divinity. He belongs to everyone and everyone belongs to him. The temple is also home to countless sacred rituals, some daily, some annual, and some rare. Among the most mysterious is the Naba Kalebara, which takes place every 12 years when the wooden deities are replaced with new ones carved from specially chosen neem trees. During this ritual, a secret transfer takes place, known only to the temple priests, when the mysterious essence or Brahm, the soul of Jagannath, is moved from the old idol to the new. This process happens in complete darkness, unseen by any human eye. The very air of Puri vibrates with awe during those nights, as devotees believe the Lord undergoes his own cycle of death and rebirth, teaching humanity the eternal truth of impermanence and renewal. Legends also surround the temple's history. It is said that the sea once threatened to engulf Puri, but Jagannath's power held it back. Another tale says that the temple's shadow never falls on the ground, a divine phenomenon that pilgrims whisper about with reverence. Whether these mysteries are proven or not, they remain living testimonies to the faith of countless generations. The temple is not just stone walls and rituals. It is the heartbeat of Puri, the very soul of Odisha. Every morning, the city awakens with the ringing of temple bells. Every evening, the Sandhya Aarti fills the sky with chants and the fragrance of incense. For the people of Odisha, Jagannath is not only a god, but their beloved family member, whom they call Kaliya with love and intimacy. For the pilgrim, stepping inside the sanctum is an overwhelming moment. The sight of Jagannath with his wide eyes and radiant smile melts away all worldly concerns. It is said that no one comes to Puri by chance. The Lord himself calls each devotee at the appointed time, granting them the blessing of his darshan. Thus, the sacred temple of Puri stands not only as an architectural marvel, but as a living testimony of love, inclusiveness, and mystery. It is not simply a monument to the past, but an eternal beacon of devotion, calling every soul towards the Supreme. As the devotee leaves the temple, carrying Mahaprasad in hand and Jagannath's name on the lips, the heart feels lighter, the burdens of life softened by his grace. And one realizes that this temple is not only in Puri, it is within us. For wherever his name is sung with love, there the temple of Jagannath stands eternal. Chapter 5. Mahaprasad, Food of the Gods. Among the countless wonders of the Jagannath temple in Puri, one stands out with special sweetness: the sacred food known as Mahaprasad. For devotees, Mahaprasad is not merely food. It is divine grace in edible form, a blessing that nourishes both body and soul. To taste it is to taste Jagannath's love, and to share it is to share his compassion with all of creation. The temple of Jagannath is home to the largest kitchen in the world. Every single day, thousands of meals are cooked, not for royalty or for the wealthy, but for the Lord himself and through him for his devotees. The kitchen is a vast, sacred space with over 700 earthen ovens arranged in neat rows and fueled by firewood. Over 600 temple cooks, known as Suaras and Mahasuaras, prepare an astonishing variety of dishes with devotion as their only aim. The cooking process itself is a miracle that defies logic. Large earthen pots are stacked one above another, sometimes in rows of 9 or more, placed over a single fire. Yet strangely, the food in the topmost pot cooks first, followed by the ones below, in reverse of what one might expect. No explanation has ever been found, but devotees accept it as the Lord's own play. Jagannath himself decides how his offerings will be prepared. Every day, 56 varieties of food are prepared as offerings. This is called the Chappan Bhog, 56 dishes, symbolizing the 24 hours of the day, multiplied by the 3 times meals are served to the Lord, plus the 2 snacks in between. These dishes range from simple rice and lentils to rich curries, sweets and delicacies prepared with ghee, milk and jaggery. Nothing is too small and nothing is too grand, for the Lord accepts it all with equal love. Once the offerings are placed before Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra in the sanctum, they cease to be ordinary food. They are transformed into Mahaprasad, sanctified by the divine touch of the Lord. From that moment, they are no longer material nourishment, but spiritual blessings. Devotees believe that eating Mahaprasad purifies sins, uplifts the heart, and brings peace to the soul. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Mahaprasad is its inclusiveness. In a society that was once divided by barriers of caste, creed, and status, Jagannath broke all walls. In his temple, Mahaprasad is shared by everyone, rich and poor, Brahmin and outcast, king and beggar, sitting together as equals. This tradition reflects the very heart of Jagannath's message. The Lord of the universe belongs to all, and his grace makes no distinction. The place where Mahaprasad is distributed is known as the Ananda Bazaar, the market of bliss. Here, devotees gather in large numbers, sitting side by side under the open sky, partaking of the Lord's offerings with joy. There are no barriers, no reservations, only the sweet bond of devotion. The sight of thousands of people eating together, united by the grace of Jagannath, is one of the most moving expressions of spiritual equality in the world. Legends surround the sanctity of Mahaprasad. It is said that once goddess Lakshmi herself became upset with Jagannath and left the temple. Without her presence, no offerings could be cooked. The world fell into famine and even the gods went hungry. At last, when Lakshmi returned, food was once again prepared and offered. From then on, it was believed that Mahaprasad carries not only the grace of Jagannath, but also the blessings of goddess Lakshmi, ensuring that no devotee ever goes hungry in Puri. There is also the story of how Mahaprasad dissolves barriers of pride. Once, a king refused to eat Mahaprasad because it had been touched by people of all castes. That very night, he dreamt of Jagannath, rebuking him. "Do you think my grace is confined to purity of caste? Know that I accept the devotion of the heart, not the pride of birth. To reject Mahaprasad is to reject me." The king awoke in shame, and from that day forward, he became the most humble servant in distributing Mahaprasad to all. Even the simplest items of Mahaprasad hold deep meaning. Anna, the plain rice, symbolizes purity and sustenance. Dal represents humility, nourishing yet simple. Sweets like khaja and rasgulla remind us of the sweetness of divine love. Pur Pitha, a baked rice cake offered during special festivals, is said to be Jagannath's favorite. Each dish carries not only taste but spiritual symbolism, turning a meal into an offering of the heart. For pilgrims, carrying Mahaprasad back home is a sacred duty. Families preserve it carefully and distribute it among loved ones, neighbors, and even strangers. It is believed that even a single grain of Mahaprasad carries the power of the Lord's blessing, capable of removing misfortune and bringing peace. Many devotees keep a portion of it in their homes as protection and divine presence. But beyond rituals and legends, the true beauty of Mahaprasad lies in the love with which it is shared. When thousands of devotees sit together, hands reaching for the same food, smiles lighting their faces, one realizes that this is more than eating. It is communion with the divine, a foretaste of the spiritual truth that in God's eyes all are one. The temple kitchen continues its service every single day without fail. Even when storms rage, when kings rose and fell, when centuries passed, the cooking of Mahaprasad never ceased. It is as if the Lord Himself ensures that His children are always fed. To taste Mahaprasad is to taste more than food. It is to taste love, equality, and eternity. Pilgrims often say that no delicacy in the world compares to a handful of rice sanctified by Jagannath's touch. Its flavor may be simple, but its sweetness lingers in the heart forever. Thus, Mahaprasad is not just food. It is Jagannath himself, nourishing his devotees with love that knows no end. And in this sacred offering, we glimpse the Lord's deepest truth, that He is not only the ruler of the universe, but also the loving provider of every meal, the eternal companion in every hunger, the giver of bliss in every bite. Chapter 6. Rath Yatra, the Festival of Chariots. If there is one festival that captures the heart of Lord Jagannath's devotees across the world, it is the Rath Yatra, the Festival of the Chariots. Each year, the holy city of Puri is transformed into a sea of devotion as millions gather to witness the Lord stepping out of His temple, riding His magnificent chariot, and embracing the world with His love. It is not just a festival, it is a divine drama that reveals the very essence of Jagannath's compassion. The Rath Yatra takes place on the second day, Dvitiya Tithi, of the bright fortnight Shukla Paksha of the month of Ashad, in between June-July. On this sacred day, Lord Jagannath, along with his elder brother Balabhadra and beloved sister Subhadra, leave the sanctum of the Jagannath temple and journey to their garden temple, the Gundicha Mandir, about 3 kilometers away. For 7 days, they reside there, enjoying the love and service of devotees before returning in a grand procession known as the Bahuda Jatra. The central message of Rath Yatra is simple yet profound. Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, is not confined within the temple walls. He steps out to meet His children, to bless even those who cannot enter His sanctum. In this moment, He breaks all barriers of caste, creed, and status, making Himself available to every soul. No wonder millions from every corner of the world throng to Puri during this festival, yearning for even a glimpse of the Lord on His chariot. The preparations for Rath Yatra begin months in advance. Skilled artisans, following traditions passed down through generations, construct 3 colossal wooden chariots, each unique in size, color, and design. Lord Jagannath's chariot, Nandi Ghos, is the tallest, adorned in yellow and red, standing nearly 45 feet high with 16 giant wheels. Balabhadra's chariot, Taladhwaj, is decorated in green and red, slightly smaller, with 14 wheels. Subhadra's chariot, Darpadalan, is elegant in black and red with 12 wheels. These chariots are not reused. Each year, new ones are built, symbolizing the ever-renewing cycle of creation. On the day of the festival, Puri awakens before dawn. The air is charged with excitement and devotional chants echo through every street. The grand avenue, called the Badadand, stretching from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha Mandir, becomes the pathway of the divine. Devotees fill every inch of space, their hearts pounding in anticipation of the sacred site. The first great ritual of the day is the Pahandi, the ceremonial procession in which the deities are brought out of the temple. Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra are carried on swinging movements by the servitors as thousands chant Jai Jagannath, Hari Bol. The sound of conches, cymbals, and drums fill the air. When Jagannath himself emerges with his large round eyes and smiling face, the crowd erupts with indescribable joy. It is said that in this moment, even the gods themselves come down to witness the spectacle. Another deeply symbolic ritual follows, the Chhera Pahara, the sweeping of the chariots by the Gajapati king of Puri. Dressed humbly as a servant, with broom and golden handle in hand, the king cleans the platform of each chariot and sprinkles water and sandalwood. This act demonstrates that before Jagannath, all are equal. No matter how great one's earthly power, in the presence of the Lord, one must bow in humility. Finally, the most awaited moment arrives, the pulling of the chariots. Thousands of devotees, holding the thick ropes, strain with all their might to move the gigantic structures. To touch the rope is considered a blessing. To pull it is said to wash away lifetimes of sin. The chariots move slowly but surely, amidst cries of devotion and tears of joy. As the Lord rides through the street, devotees stretch their arms for a glimpse. Some weep, others dance in ecstasy, and all feel their hearts lifted into eternity. The Rath Yatra is not merely a procession, it is a living parable. The chariot represents the human body, the ropes are the ties of devotion, and the Lord seated within is the soul's divine master. When devotees pull the ropes, it is as though they are striving to draw the Lord into their own hearts. The journey to Gundicha Mandir symbolizes the soul's journey toward purity, for Gundicha is believed to represent Vrindavan, the abode of divine love. At Gundicha Mandir, Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra rest for 7 days. Devotees throng to see them in this new setting, experiencing the joy of intimate darshan. The return journey, or Bahuda Jatra, is equally grand, culminating in another great moment, the Suna Besh, when the deities are dressed in dazzling golden ornaments and shine like the very sun, reminding devotees of their eternal majesty. Legends enrich the Rath Yatra with deeper meaning. One tale says that the festival commemorates the journey of Krishna along with his brother Balaram and sister Subhadra to Vrindavan. Another tells us that it is a divine play to honor Queen Gundicha's devotion, who longed to host Jagannath in her temple. Whatever the story, the message remains timeless. The Lord delights in going out to meet His people, to share His love without condition. The Rath Yatra has transcended the boundaries of Puri. Today, it is celebrated by devotees across the world, in London, New York, Moscow, Sydney, and countless other cities, where wooden chariots are built and Jagannath rides amidst dancing, chanting crowds. The sight of people of all races and nations pulling the ropes together reflects the universal appeal of Jagannath, truly the Lord of the universe. For devotees who attend the Rath Yatra in Puri, the memory is unforgettable. To see the towering chariots, to feel the rope in one's hand, to hear the thunderous cry of Jai Jagannath, these moments leave an imprint on the soul that lasts a lifetime. It is said that even a single glimpse of Jagannath on his chariot guarantees liberation. Such is the mercy of the Lord during this festival. The Rath Yatra reminds us that God is not distant nor confined to temples. He comes down, rides with us, smiles at us, and invites us to pull Him into our lives. His chariot is not only on the streets of Puri, it rolls through the hearts of all who call upon Him with love. Thus, Rath Yatra is not just a festival, it is the living heartbeat of Jagannath's compassion, the rolling chariot of divine love that carries the world closer to the eternal. Chapter 7. The Living Traditions of Devotion. To step into the sacred world of Lord Jagannath is to enter a realm where every moment is devotion, every gesture is service, and every heartbeat echoes the eternal bond between the Lord and His children. The temple of Jagannath in Puri is not merely a monument of stone and wood. It is a living tradition sustained by countless rituals performed with love and dedication by His chosen Sevayats. From dawn till midnight, Jagannath's day unfolds like that of a beloved king, cared for by attendants who serve him not out of duty alone, but with the intimacy of family. To the Sevayats, Jagannath is not a distant deity. He is a living being who eats, sleeps, bathes, dresses, and enjoys music and play. Their service is not ritualistic formality, it is heartfelt affection passed down through generations. The daily routine of Jagannath begins in the stillness of early dawn, around 5 a.m., with the ritual known as Mangal Arati, the auspicious morning worship. As the temple doors open, lamps are lit, conches are blown, and soft prayers fill the sanctum. Devotees believe that in this moment, the first sight of Jagannath awakens not only the temple, but the entire universe. Just as a mother lovingly wakes her child, so too do the Sevayats awaken the Lord, offering Him fresh flowers, fragrant incense, and sweet melodies of devotion. Following the Mangal Arati, Jagannath is bathed and dressed for the morning darshan. The Sevayats adorn him in fresh garments, flowers, and ornaments, each day with different colors and designs. His eyes, wide and compassionate, are painted afresh, reminding devotees that His gaze is always alive, always watching over the world with love. The sight of Jagannath in his morning attire fills hearts with renewed energy, as if the very sun of divine grace has risen in their lives. Shortly after, the Lord is offered His first meal of the day. This is the Gopal Ballabh Bhog, a light breakfast of fruits, sweets, and milk preparations. The offering is small compared to the grand meals later in the day. but it is served with great affection, much like a mother serving her child's morning nourishment. As the day progresses, Jagannath receives several more offerings of food, culminating in the great Raj Bhog, the royal feast at noon. During this time, the temple kitchen works ceaselessly, preparing vast quantities of rice, dal, curries, and sweets. Sevayats carry these offerings with utmost care, accompanied by conches and bells, as though bringing meals to a great monarch. Yet, beneath the grandeur lies intimacy, for Jagannath accepts these offerings as gifts of love, not luxury. After the midday feast, the Lord rests. Curtains are drawn and the sanctum becomes quiet. Devotees believe that Jagannath, like any living being, requires moments of repose. This period of sayan or rest reflects the Lord's closeness to humanity. He is not a distant, untouchable figure. He shares the rhythms of daily life with his children. In the evening, Jagannath awakens once again to music and devotion. Sevayats sing bhajans and kirtans, filling the temple with the sound of cymbals, mridangas, and voices lifted in praise. The Lord is offered another round of food, and in the cool of the evening, he is adorned in fresh garments and flowers, ready to meet his devotees once more. This evening darshan, known as Sandhya Arati, is especially cherished as the temple glows with lamps and the atmosphere becomes suffused with devotion. The day gradually comes to a close with the Bad Singhar base, the final adornment of the night. Jagannath is dressed in white clothes, decorated with fragrant flowers, and offered sweet dishes, including milk and butter preparations. Devotees often describe this darshan as the most enchanting, for the Lord appears serene and restful, preparing to retire for the night. Finally, the Pahad ritual takes place. The Lord is symbolically put to sleep. As the temple doors close, chants of peace and lullabies echo, reminding all that even God rests, and with him the universe finds its repose. What makes these rituals so remarkable is not merely their scale or precision, but the spirit in which they are performed. The Sevayats serve not as priests detached from daily life, but as family members of the Lord. For centuries, their families have carried forward these duties, each role carefully preserved by tradition. Some are responsible for cooking, others for dressing, some for singing, and others for carrying offerings. Every task, no matter how small, is considered sacred. It is said that Jagannath accepts the love of his Sevayats more than the perfection of their service. If a Sevayat makes a mistake but serves with a pure heart, the Lord smiles. This is the essence of Bhakti, love above ritual, devotion above formality. Indeed, the intimacy between Jagannath and his servitors is unlike that found in any other temple. Here, the Lord is not worshipped as a distant god, but cared for as one cares for a dear family member. The daily seva of Jagannath also carries deep symbolism for devotees. By seeing the Lord bathed, fed, dressed, and put to sleep, devotees learn to see God in the ordinary rhythms of life. Cooking becomes an offering, rest becomes a meditation, and every act of daily living becomes sacred. In this way, Jagannath teaches his children that devotion is not apart from life, it is woven into every moment. Beyond the daily rituals, there are also countless seasonal sevas that mark the Lord's changing moods and festivals. During the hot summer months, he is offered cooling drinks and adorned with sandal paste. During the winter, he is wrapped in warm clothes. On special occasions, he appears in grand beshas, splendid costumes that depict him as Krishna, Rama, or even as a divine warrior. Each change reflects the living bond between Jagannath and his devotees, who see him not as a distant figure of stone, but as their ever-present companion. The living traditions of devotion in Jagannath's temple are a reminder that the Lord is not confined to abstraction. He is alive, personal, and present. He eats with his devotees, rests with them, listens to their songs, and shares their joys and sorrows. In this intimacy lies the unique charm of Jagannath, the God who is both the ruler of the universe and the beloved member of every family. To witness even a single day of seva in Puri is to glimpse eternity in daily life. For the Sevayats, it is not mere duty, it is love carried forward from father to son, from mother to child, across centuries. And for the devotees who come from afar, it is a reminder that God is not distant. He is here, living, breathing, and waiting to be loved. Chapter 8. The Philosophy of Lord Jagannath. At the heart of the Jagannath tradition lies a message far deeper than rituals, festivals, or even miracles. It is the philosophy of a God who belongs to all, who embraces every soul without distinction, and who embodies the eternal values of equality, love, and inclusiveness. Lord Jagannath, whose very name means Lord of the Universe, is not confined to one caste, one community, or even one religion. He is the God of humanity, the God of the cosmos, the God who stretches his arms wide enough to gather all creation into his embrace. The image of Jagannath itself speaks this philosophy. Unlike traditional deities with finely carved features, Jagannath has large round eyes, a broad smile, and incomplete limbs. To some, this may appear unusual, but to devotees, it carries profound symbolism. His round eyes without eyelids signify that his gaze never ceases. He watches over all beings equally at every moment. His smile assures the world that his love is boundless, while his unfinished form reminds us that divinity transcends all limitations of shape and definition. Jagannath cannot be restricted by human imagination. He is beyond all categories, yet accessible to all hearts. One of the most striking aspects of Jagannath's philosophy is the way his worship dissolves social barriers. In ancient India, society was often divided by caste and privilege, yet Jagannath broke those walls with gentle but firm compassion. In his temple, food becomes Mahaprasad, sanctified not by who cooks it, but by his divine acceptance. When shared at the Ananda Bazaar, it unites king and beggar, Brahmin and outcast, scholar and laborer, all sitting together as equals. In this simple act of eating together, the philosophy of Jagannath shines brighter than any sermon. Before God, no one is higher or lower, for all are his children. This inclusiveness extends beyond caste into the very fabric of humanity. For centuries, Jagannath has been worshipped not only by Hindus, but also revered by Buddhas, Jains, and even people from other faiths who find in him a universal symbol of divinity. Some see him as Krishna, others as the Buddha, still others as a cosmic form of the formless absolute. Jagannath accommodates them all. He does not demand uniformity of belief, but welcomes diversity of devotion. Truly, he is the Lord of the universe, whose embrace knows no boundaries. The Rath Yatra itself illustrates this philosophy vividly. When Jagannath comes out of his temple and rides the great chariot, he makes himself accessible to all, including those who are not allowed inside the sanctum. The chariot rolls through the streets, and anyone, regardless of caste, creed, or nationality, can touch the rope and feel connected to the divine. This annual act of inclusion proclaims to the world, God is not the property of a few. He belongs to everyone. The story of the king sweeping the chariot during Rath Yatra is another powerful expression of Jagannath's philosophy. The Gajapati king, though ruler of the land, humbles himself before Jagannath, performing the act of a servant. In this moment, he demonstrates that before God, worldly power holds no value. Only humility and devotion matter. It is a living lesson in equality, that the highest and the lowest stand on the same ground before the divine. Jagannath's philosophy is also deeply rooted in love. Love that is universal, unconditional, and overflowing. He does not demand perfection from his devotees. He accepts them with their flaws, their struggles, their humanity. Devotees often say that Jagannath's eyes are so large because he never wishes to miss even the smallest act of love. If a poor devotee offers a handful of rice with a pure heart, he accepts it as readily as the grand offerings of kings. His love is not based on merit, but on sincerity. This inclusiveness and equality reflect a profound truth that divinity is not separate from humanity. Jagannath does not distance himself from human needs and emotions. He eats, he sleeps, he falls ill, he celebrates festivals just like his devotees. In doing so, he bridges the gap between the human and the divine, teaching that God is not far away but deeply involved in the lives of his children. He is the God who laughs with us, weeps with us, and walks beside us. Philosophers and saints have often reflected on the deeper meaning of Jagannath's form and tradition. Many see in him the embodiment of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Others describe him as the universal consciousness that pervades all beings, the eternal witness of joy and sorrow. For the simple devotee, however, Jagannath is simply Bad Thakur, the great Lord, who belongs to them, who listens to their prayers, who shares their daily lives. The Jagannath tradition also teaches that service to humanity is service to God. Feeding the poor, sharing Mahaprasad, pulling the chariot, singing kirtans, all these acts are not mere rituals but pathways to realizing the divine presence in all. By serving others, one serves Jagannath himself, for he dwells in every heart. This philosophy of love in action has inspired countless devotees and continues to guide spiritual seekers today. In a world often divided by differences, the message of Jagannath shines as a beacon of hope. His temple is not just a place of worship, it is a living symbol of inclusiveness. His festivals are not mere celebrations, they are lessons in unity. His Mahaprasad is not just food, it is the taste of equality and love. His smiling eyes remind us that no one is forgotten, no one is excluded, and no one is beyond his care. Ultimately, the philosophy of Lord Jagannath is the philosophy of oneness. Oneness of humanity, oneness of creation, oneness with the divine. To bow before him is to bow before the truth that love is greater than division, equality is stronger than pride, and inclusiveness is the very nature of God. And so, Jagannath remains not only the Lord of Puri, not only the Lord of India, but the Lord of the universe, eternal, compassionate, and ever-embracing. His message is not bound by time or culture. It whispers across ages and lands. Come as you are, for you are mine. I make no distinction. In my eyes, all are equal, all are beloved, all are divine.
Sweet, audible.
Chapter 9. Jagannath in Bhakti Saints' Lives. The glory of Lord Jagannath is not confined to the towering walls of his temple in Puri. His presence has flowed like a sacred river into the hearts of saints, poets, and mystics who carried his message far and wide. Through their devotion, his name has reached every corner of India, inspiring movements of love and surrender. Among these saints, the most luminous connection is found in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose divine ecstasies before Jagannath's chariot continue to echo across the centuries. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. In the 15th century, when the Bhakti movement was sweeping across India, a young saint from Bengal, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, arrived in Puri. Known for his ecstatic devotion to Krishna, Chaitanya saw in Jagannath not merely an idol, but the very embodiment of Krishna himself. When he first entered the Jagannath temple, he gazed upon the Lord's wide, round eyes and radiant smile. Overwhelmed, he collapsed in a trance of divine love. For Chaitanya, Jagannath's form represented the deepest mystery of divine separation, the moment when Krishna, having left Vrindavan, remembered his beloved devotees and Radha. In Jagannath's smiling yet incomplete form, Chaitanya saw Krishna's yearning for his devotees and the devotees' yearning for Krishna. It was during the Rath Yatra that Chaitanya's devotion reached its peak. Dancing before the Lord's chariot, lost in kirtan, he appeared as if Radha herself had merged into his body, expressing the love of the gopis for Krishna. Thousands witnessed these scenes, their hearts inflamed with devotion. The Rath Yatra, already a grand festival, became a cosmic dance of divine love under Chaitanya's influence. Through his life and teachings, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed Jagannath as not just the Lord of Puri, but the Lord of love, the Krishna who longs for his devotees as much as they long for him. His movement, the Gaudiya Vaishnav tradition, spread across Bengal, Odisha, and beyond, carrying Jagannath's name into countless homes and hearts. Tulsidas and the Lord of the Universe. In northern India, another saint poet, Goswami Tulsidas, the great devotee of Ram, also felt the pull of Jagannath's divinity. Though Tulsidas dedicated his life to composing the Ramcharitmanas, he recognized in Jagannath the same supreme essence of divinity that he worshipped as Ram. It is said that when Tulsidas visited Puri, he stood before Jagannath's smiling form and saw not Krishna alone, but Lord Ram himself, accompanied by Lakshman and Sita. To him, Jagannath symbolized the one supreme Lord who manifests in different forms for different devotees. Jagannath's inclusiveness was for Tulsidas a living proof of the unity of Godhead. That Ram, Krishna, and Jagannath are not separate but expressions of the same eternal love. In his writings, Tulsidas praised this truth, teaching that God is beyond names and forms, yet mercifully takes on countless names and forms to meet his children where they are. Jagannath's broad smile seemed to affirm this philosophy, the Lord who welcomes all, regardless of which path they follow. Other saints and their devotion. Jagannath's influence can also be seen in the lives of many other saints. The great Advaita Acharya, one of the companions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, worshipped Jagannath as the source of divine grace. Saints of Odisha, such as Sala Beg, a Muslim-born devotee, composed immortal songs of longing for Jagannath, proving that the Lord's love transcends religion itself. Sala Beg was denied entry into the temple, yet Jagannath's chariot stopped near his resting place during Rath Yatra, as if to assure him, "I come to you, my child, wherever you are." The saint poet Jayadev, author of the Geet Govind, composed his devotional songs in the very presence of Jagannath. Even today, these verses are sung daily in the temple, their melodies expressing the love between Radha and Krishna, now embodied in Jagannath's worship. Kabir, the mystic poet too, found resonance with Jagannath's philosophy of equality. Though Kabir often criticized outward ritual, he praised the vision of a God who accepts all, echoing the inclusive message that shines at the heart of Jagannath's tradition. In the south of India, saints of the Bhakti movement saw Jagannath as a universal form of Vishnu, honoring him as part of the great Vaishnav tradition. In Maharashtra, the Varkari saints devoted to Vithoba of Pandharpur found kinship in Jagannath's form, recognizing the same compassionate heart in different manifestations of God. The saints' shared vision. What unites these diverse saints? Chaitanya in Bengal, Tulsidas in the north, Sala Beg in Odisha, Jayadev in his poetry, and many others. Is their recognition of Jagannath as a living symbol of divine love? For each of them, he appeared in the form most intimate to their hearts, as Krishna, as Ram, as the formless absolute, as the God who belongs to Hindus, Muslims, and everyone alike. This adaptability is not weakness, it is the very strength of Jagannath's tradition. He does not bind himself to a single image or doctrine. Instead, he meets his devotees where they are, appearing as Ram to one, Krishna to another, the universal Lord to a third. This inclusiveness reflects the deepest truth of Bhakti, that God accepts the devotion of the heart, whatever form it may take. Through the saints, Jagannath's name spread far beyond Puri. Their songs, poems, and teachings carried his glory into villages, towns, and hearts across India. Even today, when devotees sing Chaitanya's ecstatic kirtans, recite Tulsidas's verses, or hum the songs of Sala Bega, they are unknowingly touched by the spirit of Jagannath, the Lord whose love cannot be confined. A living legacy. The influence of Jagannath is not a tale of the past, it is a living legacy. Every year during Rath Yatra, devotees around the world dance and sing in the tradition of Chaitanya. Every time a devotee shares Mahaprasad in equality, they live the vision of inclusiveness that inspired saints like Kabir and Sala Beg. Every time one sees Ram in Krishna or Krishna in Ram, one remembers Tulsidas's vision of the one Lord shining through many forms. The saints remind us that Jagannath is not just a deity of stone, nor just the presiding Lord of Puri. He is the heartbeat of the Bhakti tradition, the eternal source of inspiration for those who choose love over pride, devotion over ritual, unity over division. Chapter 10. Jagannath, the Eternal Protector. Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, is not only a deity of ancient lore and timeless philosophy, he is a living protector whose grace continues to touch the lives of millions in the modern world. From the shores of Puri to distant lands across the globe, his devotees experience his presence in ways both visible and mysterious, miraculous and subtle. The Lord's protection is not limited to life and death. It encompasses the heart, the mind, and the very soul, guiding all who call upon Him with love and devotion. Throughout history, countless stories testify to Jagannath's role as the eternal protector. Pilgrims narrate how they have felt His intervention in times of danger, illness, or despair. Ships lost in storms off the Bay of Bengal, travelers wandering in forests, devotees facing mortal peril. Many have testified that a sudden calm, a fortuitous turn of events, or even a dream revealing the Lord's instructions saved them. In these accounts, Jagannath is not a distant observer, but an active guardian, ever vigilant, ever compassionate. The miracles associated with Jagannath often occur in ways that transcend human logic. One famous tale tells of Salabeg, the Muslim devotee of the Lord, whose devotion was so pure that despite temple restrictions, Jagannath himself stopped his chariot during the Rath Yatra so that Salabeg could witness the Lord's procession. To this day, devotees retell the story, amazed by the Lord's personal attention to a devotee outside conventional norms. Such incidents reveal a fundamental truth. Jagannath's protection and grace are available to all without discrimination or limitation. In modern times, Jagannath's influence continues to be felt in profound ways. Pilgrims traveling from distant countries often speak of inexplicable experiences during their visits to Puri. Some report sudden recovery from illness after partaking in Mahaprasad. Others speak of emotional healing after receiving darshan. Children lost in crowds are mysteriously reunited with their parents. Individuals facing severe crises find guidance in dreams or sudden insights, often describing these interventions as the Lord's personal protection. For devotees, these experiences are not coincidences. They are signs of Jagannath's watchful, loving presence. The Lord's grace is also expressed through the everyday acts of devotees. Modern devotees who may never visit Puri still feel His protection. Chanting His name, singing kirtans, offering prayers, or sharing the principles of Jagannath's philosophy in daily life brings an unseen shield of spiritual strength. Those who surrender themselves to Him experience courage in adversity, patience in hardship, and clarity in confusion. This protection is subtle yet powerful, demonstrating that Jagannath's presence is not limited to temple walls or rituals. It extends into the hearts and lives of all who seek Him sincerely. Even in the modern age of science and rationality, Jagannath's miracles continue to inspire devotion. Scholars and scientists may debate the mechanics of temple phenomena, the mystery of Mahaprasad cooking, or the extraordinary occurrences during Rath Yatra. Yet devotees testify that these are manifestations of divine grace. It is this faith that bridges the ancient and modern worlds, showing that the Lord's protection transcends time, space, and circumstance. Jagannath's grace is also seen in the cultural and social realm. His teachings inspire acts of equality and charity, reminding modern devotees that protection is not only personal but collective. Feeding the hungry, helping the weak, and spreading kindness are ways in which Jagannath's devotees become instruments of His grace. In essence, by serving humanity, devotees themselves become extensions of the Lord's protective presence in the world. The Lord's miracles often carry profound spiritual lessons. When a devotee witnesses an apparent miracle, it is a reminder of divine omnipresence and compassion. These events teach humility, devotion, and surrender, qualities that remain vital in the fast-paced, often impersonal modern world. By trusting in Jagannath's protection, devotees learn to navigate life with faith, understanding that while challenges may arise, they are never truly alone. Jagannath's protection also takes the form of inner transformation. Countless devotees testify that surrendering to him brings peace, contentment, and fearlessness. His presence softens anger, dissolves ego, and nurtures love for all beings. This inner shield is perhaps the most profound of all, for it safeguards not the body alone, but the soul itself, enabling devotees to face the trials of life with courage and devotion. Even outside the sacred walls of Puri, Jagannath's influence is felt in homes, temples, and hearts worldwide. Devotees display his images, sing his names, and carry his message across continents. Through these acts, Jagannath becomes a protector not of a single nation or era, but of humanity as a whole. He watches over families, blesses children, and uplifts communities, ensuring that his grace reaches those who seek it with devotion, regardless of geography or circumstance. The modern devotee also witnesses the Lord's protection through technology and connectivity. Videos of Rath Yatra, online prayers, and global devotional networks allow his message to reach millions simultaneously, reminding all that Jagannath's protection is not confined by distance. The Lord is equally present in every heart that calls him sincerely, in every mind that meditates upon his form, and in every act of love inspired by his philosophy. Ultimately, Jagannath, as the eternal protector, teaches a timeless truth. True protection is not merely the avoidance of danger, but the nurturing of the heart and soul. He protects his devotees from despair, ignorance, and ego, granting courage, compassion, and clarity. In his grace, one finds not only shelter in times of difficulty, but guidance towards spiritual awakening. In a world filled with uncertainty and challenge, Jagannath remains the steadfast guardian. His wide eyes, smiling face, and open hearts reassure every devotee that no soul is forgotten, no plea unheard. His miracles, whether subtle or extraordinary, remind humanity of the enduring presence of divine love. For those who seek him, Lord Jagannath offers protection beyond imagination, protection of the body, the mind, and the spirit. To call upon his name is to be embraced by a cosmic guardian whose love is infinite and whose grace is eternal. In the end, the story of Jagannath as the eternal protector is the story of hope itself. It is the assurance that in every age, in every heart, and in every circumstance, the Lord watches, guides, and safeguards his devotees. He is not bound by time or place. He is the eternal protector, forever present, forever compassionate, and forever calling every soul to surrender in love. Thank you for listening, Jagannath, the eternal Lord of the universe. A soulful audiobook narrated and published by Sweet Audible.